Dakota was a 7-year-old spitfire genius little boy, even after 2 brain surgeries. Dakota had a big heart. That's what made him him. He had a big everything. He was a big kid, actually. He was only 7, but he looked 10. Big jokes, big hugs, big everything. Big personality. He's a special kid.
Every month on Life on Pause, someone whose life was interrupted by cancer sits down and tells the truth about it. The diagnosis, the treatment, the living that comes after. It's a series made for and by young people at Penn State Health Children's Hospital. This month is different. This month, a mother tells the story her son no longer can. Her name is Alicia Dixon.
We had a fun, happy, typical life that you don't think that would you take for granted. We went on vacations together as families. His favorite place was the beach, specifically Florida. He loved to go to school. He had a lot of friends. He loved to do karate. He did that every week. He almost, well, I shouldn't say almost, he did get his black belt. His master gave him his black belt at his funeral, so he made it. Dakota is the big brother. He has a little sister who is now 7. Her name is Haley. He'd be, Haley, stop it. The first night we brought her home, he threw a ball pit at her head. But then he said, I'm sorry, and he's just a sweetheart. They loved each other. Fierce. Yeah, he was a typical healthy 6-year-old boy before he was diagnosed. But yeah, life before cancer was incredible. He made it incredible. Yep.
It started the way 1,000 harmless things start. A headache, then a worse one, then a call from the school nurse.
He was screaming in pain, holding his head, and I noticed the left-sided facial droop. So I said, yeah, no urgent care, we're going straight to the ER. Didn't even call an ambulance. I thought he was having a stroke, but personally, I'm like, no, I can go faster than that. We walked in, he was shuffling his feet, and I for sure thought he was having a stroke. Never in a million years would I have imagined it was cancer. My phone pinged, and I looked down and it was his CT results. I'm like, wow, that's the fastest I've ever gotten this in my life. Never have I gotten that. And I opened it, not even thinking, like, yeah, let's get out of here. I'm ready to go home and eat. I'm sure he's hungry. He was still sleeping. And when I opened it, my heart stopped. Because I know with a medical background exactly what I was reading. And the doctors weren't in the room yet. So I had to do that on my own. And I'm like, okay. And I looked at him and I thought, where are we going? First thing where are we going? Doctor came in the room and she saw my face and I was just cut to the chase. I know this stuff and I want to know. I need to be prepared. And she hinted, she couldn't say, but she hinted that we're on the phone with Life Flight. We're transferring you to a hospital. And I said, make it Hershey. All I remember was hearing, it's aggressive and we don't have time to waste. Dr. Shaw, she came in and she said, we will definitely 100% give you that referral and get you a second opinion, but I'm going to be upfront with you. We don't have time to waste. I want you to know how aggressive this is. And by the time you get to St. Jude, it's another month out. And this grew within weeks. So I prayed about it. And My answer was pretty much immediate. We need to stay here and we need to do this.
Dakota's social worker came to introduce a program called 4 Diamonds. Since 1972, it has covered the cost of childhood cancer care at Penn State. For eligible families, 100% of what insurance doesn't.
She said, "Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm Dakota's social worker, and it's nice." She was incredible. She said, "Nice to meet you." She said, "Have you ever heard of 4 Diamonds?" And I went, "Nope. What's that?" I'm going to be honest, you don't think about financial things at all. You don't care. You're too busy worried about your kid. And she said, "We're here to help." She handed me food vouchers. And while I wasn't hungry, that was amazing because I didn't even have clothes in the hospital with me. I wasn't planning on being here. I didn't have anything. And then she goes, "You're never going to see a bill." And I went, "I'm sorry, what? I'm not going to what?" And I just remember crying because I thought, this is the last thing on my mind. But this gives me the opportunity, not even the opportunity, it gives me my 100% attention to my kid. I don't have to worry about it. And 4 Diamonds makes sure that you don't have to worry about anything but your kid.
What followed was 8 months of the hardest medicine there is. Chemo, brain surgeries, 3 stem cell transplants, most of it living inside the hospital.
I feel like they literally kill you and keep you alive in the hospital because they have to. You have to break everything, every cell down. The first 2, I flew through it. I mean, he was stinking brave, and he just did it with a smile on his face, and he made it look easy. But the 3rd one, he was down already from the first 2, so this one was hard. And it was 2 weeks in, his oxygen started to drop, and again, working in healthcare, like, okay, what's that about? Within the next 24 hours, it ended up being I had to hold a mask on him in order for him to get oxygen. And I actually called the nurse and I said, "This is it. Call Rapid. He needs help." And even during that moment, Dakota looked at me and he was doing this, and he goes, "I feel like I can't breathe." And I said, "It's all right. You're going to be okay. You're doing great." And he goes, "I know." They ended up putting him on the ventilator. He was on the ventilator for 2-ish weeks. And the first week, he actually started to improve. We thought, okay, he's getting better. And then that second week, it just... he tanked. He kept, literally, I have PTSD from the trauma of hearing the suction. The nurse was outside the room and I heard him start coughing, and the vent started alarming, and I jumped up and I ran over, and all I saw was just red coming out of the tube. When I tell you my kid was a fighter, I'm not joking. Adult doses of medicines. And they're like, "We just gave him a paralytic and he's slamming his fist on the bed." It was scary. I can't give him any more. I'd kill him. I'm like, well, that's my Dakota. It wouldn't stop. At one point before he went on life support, he said, "I just want to get out of my head and live my life." He wanted to be a kid.
The music stops here because Dakota understood something the adults around him weren't ready to.
as he told me, "Mom, I'm gonna die." And I was so mad when he said that. "No, you're not. Why would you say that?" I never asked why. I said, "No, you're not. Stop." And I wish I would have asked. I wish I would have asked. He knew. But I have this peace feeling that I feel like Jesus somehow told him, "Hey, it's gonna be okay." And he knew. I wasn't ready to accept it. That last week, I felt a shift change. And his eyes were always closed because they had him on a sedative. But I could tell when he was awake because the monitor would start spiking. His blood pressure would go up. I'm like, "There's my kid. He's not happy." And then give him something to relax him, and back to sleep he went. And I was laying on the couch sleeping, and I heard the respiratory therapist, "It's okay, Dakota." So I jumped up and I ran over, and I don't know if he could hear me. So I would open his eyes for him to see and make sure I was there. And I opened his eyes, and he was tracking me, so I knew he could see me. And he was doing this, and he looked at me, and a tear just rolled out. And I looked at him and I said, "It's gonna be okay." And I could see just him staring me down. And in my heart, I knew it was him telling me, "I'm done. Don't want to do this anymore." He wasn't. That look was the last I knew. He stopped slamming his fist. He stopped spiking his blood pressures like he was. And I could feel it in the room also with, when you work in that, when you see a shift. And I could feel them shift. So I prayed about it, and me being my stubborn advocate self said, "Nope, I'm getting a second and third and fourth opinion." And I did. I reached out to the attending, and again, they were incredible. They said, "Absolutely, let's do it, whatever you need to hear." I got my opinion. I said, "I need to hear it from them directly. No, nothing against you. This is me accepting it." So they got him on the phone, and I got the best lung specialist in the entire world. And they told me, "It's irreversible." Um, I knew it meant that he would need a lung transplant, and I knew it meant he wouldn't qualify. It was hard because I wasn't pulling the plug on a brain dead child. It was my kid who was fully there, but he just couldn't breathe on his own. But I knew it was gonna be okay because there's a peaceful pain that I can't describe, but I know it was God. And I just felt I can't even describe this, but I just felt I know Dakota's okay, and I felt like Jesus already had him. I do. I believe Dakota knew. He told me I'm gonna die. The last week, I had this I was surrounded by amazing people, my family, the hospital staff, and I knew it was gonna be okay.
Dakota died on May 13th, 2024. He was 7 years old. Alicia will not call it losing.
First thing I say is, "No words are gonna help, but I need you to know you're not alone. I want you to know your kid is proud of you and you did your best, no matter what you think. And I hope you can find comfort that they beat their fight." I don't like to say lost because I don't feel like any kid ever loses. Their ending is always victory. And I let them know that I'm praying for them and I'm here any time of the day or night. And that I might not have walked the same path they did with their cancer journey, but I get it. I get it. He said, I'm going to get every single bead. And I said, no, you're not. Because we know what that means. And he died. So we got the bereavement bead. We got every single bead. Butterflies right on top. And it's green and blue. And I thought that the person that did it knew that. She had no idea. So I'm like, okay, kid. You told me you'd do it, and you did. You gotta prove it, but I said this was not the point to prove this time. But, yeah, he was green and blue. The nurses were, not just the nurses, every person in that hospital that walked into Dakota's room became a family to me. Even the housekeepers, even the people delivering my trays. There's one lady that stands out to me. She delivered Dakota's food trays while he was inpatient during transplant and chemo. And she sat down and watched him play, and he was all proud. And every day I'd noticed she'd deliver his tray. And we'd say hi. We didn't really talk too much, but it was nice to see her in the hall, familiar face, knowing. She stuck out to me because when everything was said and done, after Dakota died, she messaged me and she said, you probably don't know who I am, but your son changed my life in a way. And she got his ducky tattooed right on her arm. That hospital staff just doesn't do that. To literally give your arm, a stranger, for my son, and to pop their head in. And it wasn't just her, it was everyone that walked in that room. We had a family. It wasn't just support, we had a family. Penn Army. Dakota's army came about, I want to say it was within that first couple days of Dakota being, the tumor finding. We didn't get the diagnosis for a couple weeks. Within those first couple days, I got on Facebook, and some of my family lives out of state, so that's best communication. So I made a post asking for prayers for my little boy, and it went out to my friends at the time. And I had a lot of people reaching out. Hey, so-and-so wants to know, can you add him as a friend? Can you do this? And I'm like, you know what? I don't have time to do this. I need to focus on him. I'm going to make a page, and I'm just going to have it public, and people can go there for updates when I can. So I did. Somebody had said, yeah, well, you have an army. And I thought, you're right. I do. It's Dakota's army. And from pretty much the first few days, it just followers and followers and more people, and it literally turned into an army. Before he died, we were inpatient, and he talked about always wanting to help the kids next door in the next room. He created what's called the Dakota Duffel, which is a care package, a duffel bag care package filled with his favorite things. He wanted the fart machine. He wanted Uno. We played Uno for 8 hours one day. He wanted the game operation. He wanted all games. He wanted to put a whole Xbox in there, and I'm like, okay, well, we could do that. Maybe. Possibly. Well, guess what? We've pretty much done it. We've done Nintendo Switches. Dakota wanted to put all his favorite things in there, but the number one thing that stuck out was, I need the projector for the room, which was, it shines lights all over the room. Quickest way to decorate a kid's room. And he said, and don't forget my Jesus doll. We personalize it to the kid now. So I reach out to the family, the parents. I ask them a little bit about their kid. Ask them if they're okay if I share their story. I explained Dakota's Army and what it's about. It was my son who started this. He wants to help the kids. And in the hospital, before he died, I promised him I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for you because that's what you wanted.
Life on Pause is a production of Penn State Health Children's Hospital and Fort Imans, which covers 100% of childhood cancer care costs insurance doesn't, so that eligible families never receive a bill. To follow Dakota's story, search Dakota's Army on Facebook.